get her going.
Please take notice, an application has been made by Tim Davison, Butterfield Valley Road for a conditional use permit for a substantial land alteration in Hoka Township, section 6. Said applicant standing making application as the fee owner of said described land. A hearing on this application will be held at the Historic Courthouse Commission Room, City of Caledonia, Minnesota, at 7 o'clock on Thursday, April 23rd. All persons that have an interest in the matter will be given the opportunity to be heard relative to the granting or denying the said application. Houston County Planning Commission, Bob Scanlon, advertised April 8th, 2015. Okay. Did you guys get the aerial photos here? You see there's two different sites that Mr. Davison is planning to bring some material into. The one is considered a shoreland area because it's within 300 feet of the creek. It is out of the floodplain, although it's higher elevation. And the second site is farther south along Butterfield Valley Road, near a shed that goes on the south side of the road. The site in shoreland is talking about 2,000 yards of material at the maximum, and the other site would be around 5,000 yards at the most. The material is going to be derived from a MnDOT project on the west end of Hoka, on Highway 44 there. If you recall the concrete wall that, as you come into town on the west end there, MnDOT plans to remove that concrete wall and slope the bank back and seed that, as far as I understand. I guess I didn't ask Tim, do you know what the plan is for the concrete out of there?
It's going to approved quarry for ground. And so are the trees are going to get ground up. I'm only receiving the fill.
Okay. And so, we did get a couple of calls to the office, people kind of wondering what's going on, and they just explained the projects. He does have a soil erosion abatement plan on both sites. That would include some silt fence below the slopes, and seeding and mulching of disturbed areas. The site near the creek is being proposed as more of a stockpiling area. That site was established after the 07 flood when a neighboring property owner needed a place to go with some fill. It was worked out pretty good for Mr. Davison, so they'd like to continue to utilize that area for stockpiling of black dirt. Is that what you're thinking? Okay. And then the other site by his shed, he plans to widen the driveway, slope any of the areas that he'd be sloping down to about a 3-to-1 slope, and seed that as soon as possible after the material's been leveled off and deposited. There's kind of another low-lying area there too. He'd like to fill some of that, but both areas would be seeded and mulched as soon as possible. So, turn it over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Tim, any other comments?
The Midwest Contracting is the contractor on this, and they're gonna come in and strip the soil. I told them, take all the black dirt off, which if it's 2 foot or 3 foot or whatever, and push it back past our silt fence area, so we can bring the black dirt back on the fill area.
This is by your shed, what you're talking? Okay.
Yep, yep. And so, you know, we have nice black dirt back on there, and then we'll seed and mulch it accordingly, and I'll leave the silt fence up until, you know, we get proper establishment of good grasses going back there again.
So that's a low-lying area, you're building it up?
Yeah, some of you guys are fairly economical in your sense, and when my father built this shed, he stuck it in the corner of the pasture, and he didn't want to take any more away from his cows eating grass that he could possibly do, but store all of the machinery for the farm. And there was, you can't hardly get in and out of the shed. As you can see, it's really tight getting in and out of there, and we no longer have cattle, and I thought, well, this is a perfect opportunity. MnDOT, City of Hoka, and Midwest Contracting approached me and asked if I had a place where I could utilize some fill. And I was thinking about doing something like this for quite a while now, and it's just a good opportunity for me.
Does that affect the water flow anywhere onto the road? I see there's extend the culvert here.
Right, no, it won't, the water flow comes down through that valley there, if you see there, south of the shed a little ways.
Oh, okay.
And we'll make sure that we funnel, make it so we're not funneling the water, so it pushes through there. We're gonna keep a wide flow area going.
That's still a pretty wide area there for the flow out of the valley there. That won't disturb any water flow there.
Are you going to extend that culvert? That's right there?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do that kind of work
Okay.
and I'm contracted by Hoka Township and a lot of other townships in there to do that kind of work, so I guess I feel more qualified to do it.
Yeah.
Is this culvert going to be in the township right away or back off of the right of way?
It's in the township right away right now,
Okay,
and so it will stay in the township right away.
okay.
It's a culvert that was put in several years ago when we built the shed.
Any other questions? by any of the council members?
I had a lot of calls on it also, and I had not a negative call at all. So, I don't know if Bob had a negative call, but mine were all positive calls, so.
We didn't have a number call, just, you were wondering what's going on.
Oh, yeah, they all think that something's happening, and I said, no, nothing's happening, we're just trying to make life easier.
It's a good place for the fill. It's economical. They got a short haul. Hopefully it's saving the taxpayers some money, and that's a good area to fill.
Yep.
And that's not affecting the natural flow of any water that comes out of that valley. I looked at it a couple of times, so I think it's a good project.
The temporary stockpile site, how is that zoned?
Well, as the flood of 2007 progressed, the Butterfield Valley got flooded really bad, and the road was cut off completely, and we needed a place to go with fill, and we put it there. And it's just been kind of coming and going out of there since '07, and I would just rather have my ducks in a row and have that as a designated site and have its limits set, which what Bob has said to you. So-
But how is that
That's
zoned?
zone agriculture, I'm sure.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's zone
Okay,
agriculture right now.
that's just what I wanted to verify.
Yep.
Any other comments?
How long do you think it'll take, Tim?
They thought they'd be in and out of there within a week. So,
Oh, pretty fast.
yeah, they're gonna move a lot of material in a lot of time, a real short time.
You're just a
I think there'll
kid.
be a lot of MnDOT involvement with
That whole hillside there is coming down.
Yeah.
Did they,
Looks quite a bit different.
it'll be a big change to the face of Hoka.
They-
But I assured him
buy that house up there too?
I'm real fussy about the road maintenance, so Terry and I work together on the road maintenance, and I'm very fussy about that. And he assured me that they would do any kind of repairs, and he said, I have MnDOT on my back looking at me all the time too, so he says, we've really gotta be
Shit.
watching.
Maybe we'll get our road paved. God dang it, I'll have to complain when a job gets done.
Okay, any other comments? If not, maybe read the findings?
Okay, the findings for land alteration are on page 114 of your ordinance. So the conditional use permit shall be required in any case where excavation, grading, or filling of any land within the county would result in any following. And one, excavation, grading, or filling would result in substantial alteration of existing ground contours. Two, the excavation, grading, or filling would change existing drainage. Three, excavation, grading, or filling would cause flooding or erosion. Four, the excavation, grading, or filling would deprive an adjoining property owner of lateral support. Five, an excavation, grading, or filling would remove or destroy the present ground cover, resulting in less beneficial cover for present proposed development. And number 6, the excavation, grading, and filling would adversely affect use and enjoyment of any property for purposes already permitted. And so, I thought, number 5 was one of the reasons there that we have a permit, conditional use permit requirement here. And then I'll read the findings, the criteria for granting a conditional use permit. Number 1, does the proposed use conform to the county land use plan? 2, does the applicant demonstrate a need for the proposed use? 3, will the proposed use degrade the water quality of the county? 4, will the proposed use adversely increase the quantity of water runoff? 5, are soil conditions adequate to accommodate the proposed use? 6, have potential pollution hazards been addressed and have standards been met? 7, are adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities being provided? 8, are adequate measures being taken to provide sufficient off-street parking and loading space to serve the proposed use? 9, are facilities being provided to eliminate any traffic congestion or traffic hazards which may result from the proposed use? 10, will conditional use be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for purposes already permitted? 11, is establishment of conditional use impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding vacant property for predominant uses in the area? 12, are adequate measures being taken to prevent and control offensive odor, fumes, dust, noise, and vibration so that none of these will constitute a nuisance? Control lighted signs and other lights in such manner that no disturbance to neighboring properties will result. 13 and 14 are not applicable. 15 are site-specific conditions and such other conditions established as required for the protection of public health, safety, morals, and general welfare.
Okay, you're putting silt fences on both sides, Tim, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And so is there a plan, I mean, do you do that, or does soil conservation have a plan? for that?
No, we developed a plan
Okay.
and Midwest Contracting is gonna do it.
Okay, very good.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions or comments on the findings? If not, I'd entertain a motion one way or another regarding this application.
I'll make a motion that we
I'll second it.
approve the application with soil and water guidelines and silt fences.
Silt fences, both sides.
Okay. Yep.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Jerry, second by Larry. Okay, we have a motion. Any other discussion on the motion? Motion is made to approve the application. The only condition that they follow all state and local laws and that these silt fences be put in.
Or follow soil erosion.
And follow the soil erosion.
Soil and erosion, yep.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, thanks, guys, appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Jimmy. I'll go to the board again on May 5th for final approval.
So that's the final approval then?
Yeah, that's the county board.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
When are they planning on starting this project here?
as soon as you guys tell me, then
It'll be after May 5th.
after May 5th. I will call and tell
You get the stamp of approval from the higher powers, you can go after that.
That's on a Tuesday or anything?
Yeah, regular Tuesday meeting.
Can you call me, Bob, then? Because
Yeah, sure.
I think they're kinda, they're treading water right now. They wanna tear that house down and start doing what they gotta do.
Okay. Yep, I'll keep you informed.
And that's only a week or so away.
Right.
No big deal.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, guys.
Yep, thanks, Tim. See you
Yep.
later.
Appreciate your time.
Okay, has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from last week?
I noticed the day's wrong.
What's that?
The date is right, but the day is wrong. It's a Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. On the start, it's Tuesday, March.
Even though I wasn't here. Even though I wasn't
That's pretty good.
Isn't that though?
Okay, any other comments on the minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept them as submitted.
Motion made, any second to that?
I'll second that.
Okay, motion is made and seconded to accept the minutes as read. If there's no objection, we'll pass it by unanimous consent. Okay, the zoning permits, if we can have to look at those. Should we start putting them right up next to the other ones?
Yeah, right up between them and the highway.
Yeah.
Still meet the 130-foot setback. Still have it.
Any questions or comments on the zoning permits?
I'll make a motion to approve the permits.
Motion by Terry, seconded by Glenn.
I'll second.
All right, if there's no objection by unanimous consent, we'll accept them. Approve them. Okay, anything else on the other business? I had a question on the urbanization expansion district, yeah. Just where that's at and how that's going.
The rest of the maps the other day.
All of them except for Crescent Island. I got a map from Dan yet to send out.
Dan's
to
had to
township.
print all the big maps.
Okay.
So we sent
You had to
township
read
maps out to have them look it over, review it before we, sit down and like to get some input from the townships to see which areas that, they would suggest would be a good, good places for urban expansion district. We got Mr. and Mrs. Schnick here tonight who are, interested in that proposal as well. So, there will be some townships that probably wouldn't fit at all, but there will be other townships, for example, Money Creek, Polka, maybe Salt and Brownsville or something where, these areas near town where, in past development has occurred where people have, they submitted these one-lot subdivisions and gone through some hoops there to get an extra house put on a 40, meeting setbacks and things like that. This urban expansion district, or this zoning or rezoning of these areas would make quite a difference in the process for folks that want to put an extra house, near town. Typically, we've been talking about within 2 miles of town, but that's why I wanted to talk with the townships to see where they would suggest this urban expansion rezone would occur. So we're just getting going on. Like I said, we sent the maps out, and I think from here, I'd like to sit down with, a couple of townships at a time, maybe 3 or 4 in an area, because a lot of these areas are gonna overlap. They're not gonna be strictly one township. For instance, Holka and Mount Prairie, there might be some areas where that urban expansion district might go right into the next township. And so I think it kind of makes sense to sit down with a couple townships at a time, probably some planning commission guys too, during the discussion, and just to see where it would go. I'd like to get something, changed, amended to the ordinance and the map here, hopefully by fall, end of the year for sure. I know Charlie Weiser said it was always his goal to get this done before he retired, but didn't quite happen. But I think this is kind of next thing. We're done with the frac sand, hopefully, so I've got time to work on this now, and so that's the goal.
A lot of areas that would be buildable, just for instance, in Hoka Township, it's all farmland.
Yeah.
That's
That's
desirable building areas, and most of that probably never be sold.
Right.
I mean, there may be a spot or two that may come up for sale sometime, but
Yeah. And maybe it shouldn't be developed either if it's prime farmland. The other thing too is, you get river bottoms, there's all kinds of floodplain, and that's not the spots either.
No.
It's-
well, I'm thinking like from 18 from Hoka up to the top of the hill.
Okay, yeah,
Hartman family owns all that,
yeah,
and that'll be in their family forever.
right,
And that'd be a beautiful place to build homes.
yeah.
The sloping valleys all the way along there, but
Yeah.
Spots.
that's untouchable,
I was thinking
so-
more, like over in 21, where Fire Elm rezoned, and I think there was Sexor did in there too. I don't know if there's any more spots along that, but it's kinda steep.
Yeah, most of it's pretty dang steep, you know, along the road there. I don't really,
That might be about it, so.
Right up against Hoka there on 76 or 44 or whatever they call it there.
Mhm.
44, on the north side of the road, and that up there is, you know, pretty steep. Some of that would make some pretty nice
Yeah,
housing up in there.
right across from Schneider's.
From Schneider's and
Yeah.
can't think of the guy's name right next to Hoka.
I know what you're talking about there. I can't-
Hopple.
Hopple.
Well, he don't have much there. That's
Yeah.
all Schneidekers there.
Well, behind Hopple's place and that, he was in years ago one time and wanted to put a subdivision up in there, right up against the, the village of Hoka.
Yeah.
But I think they all need to be contiguous coming out of the city, right? Is that what you guys thinking?
Yeah, I
You
don't.
don't want them spread around.
Well, no,
You want
I,
bigger chunks, not
Yeah.
frog,
Yeah.
spotty
Yeah.
in there. You kinda wanna connect it, make it.
yeah,
make
and
sense.
I mean, we don't wanna lose any more farmland than we have to either, but,
Then you got, when you go out there and look at the site, you'd have bluffs, and you'd have streams, and you'd have.
I mean, for
feedlots
instance,
that-
Davison there, you have a beautiful place for subdivision
Some of the best ground in.
up on top there,
Yeah.
between the, you know, right above where he's gonna stockpile there, that flat there.
Oh, yeah.
But you got feedlot setbacks and stuff, too, you have to stay away
You don't have any, there's no feedlots out there anymore.
Yeah, he kinda got rid of that.
from. Anyway.
I mean, that's, you know, for instance, I mean, it's really kind of hard to visualize where there would be a place to build, but you want, if something does come up, you want something available too.
Mhm.
And whether it's 2 mile, as the crow fly things, or however you want to do it, you know, it's just to eliminate that one lot subdivision stuff, you know.
So if Bob sets up some meetings with the townships, you guys in your respective areas willing to go out there and meet with them?
Oh, sure.
All right.
Are you
Well,
thinking of a limit to how many houses would be in each one, or kind of an idea, or it'd be different in different ones, or?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit last summer when we met and we were going through some zoning changes last summer. And some of the discussion talked about, as long as there's individual driveways coming off a public road, a couple things we talked about, like minimum of 2-acre lot size, setbacks of a quarter mile from a feedlot, some pretty minimum standards. So, I mean, if there's a stretch coming right out of town where it's up on a bench or something pretty decent, that slope, there could be, I don't know, 3-4 houses coming off.
You said a minimum of 2 acres,
Yeah.
that'd be for however many houses you wanted to put on that 2 acres, is that what you're saying?
No,
No,
Just for one
house
house?
per
one
two
house
acres.
per
per
2
two.
acres.
Yeah.
That stretches it out quite a bit, doesn't
You
it?
know, you could have quite a few in a square 40 then. So, I mean, that's certainly up for discussion, but that's just what we kind of talked about last summer, you know, in preliminary.
Well, I think when you're doing rural building, you don't want them
You don't want to leave.
20 feet apart either. I mean, you
But
gotta.
you don't want to get wasteful with your land either,
No,
that's the other thing.
but,
I think 2 acres is kind of a minimum. We talked about that. I think Larry's had experience with that in the Crescent area when people build out there.
I mean, you
first
got
thing they wanna
water,
do is get
sewer,
some
and
goats
sheds
chickens and a
and-
horse.
Sure, they want to be
and a
country.
horse.
Sure.
Yeah.
you know,
all wanna-
and goats or chickens or whatever, and pretty soon them 2 acres is pretty small, you know.
And with these share wells, that's up to whoever does it, I guess, too. Is that kind of how this works?
Yeah, that's what we
I guess it could be done, but that shared wells, sometimes they did some of that years back, and that didn't work out too well.
Well, it depends on if they're up in the ridge or down the valley, too.
Yeah, that and well maintenance and driveway.
We've got
maintenance and-
two subdivisions, right, you know, close to me there, and they have shared wells.
Yeah, but you have somebody in charge of that, or you pay into that.
Well,
There's a-
you pay
there-
into
there is
a
fund,
well account.
And
Yeah.
somebody is in charge of that well account.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have to have
Valley
an
High
agreement,
and
a
that.
written agreement is what you have. to
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
But I
That'd be up
mean,
to
I've never
people.
heard any bad things about that,
Yeah,
and,
well,
you know,
10 houses on
like Fox Chase above me there,
No,
that's
I-
been there for 40 years or longer, and I've never heard any grumblings
No,
And they've
that's-
re-drilled and recased and comes out of their well account, and I never heard any complaints on it.
Here, a number of years back, then there was a thing, kind of got started a little bit, where they were selling off farmsteads and then splitting the driveway, building houses on both
Yeah,
sides of the
that's bad.
driveway with
That's
with
bad.
a shared driveway and a shared well, and then who's plowing the snow and who's, he uses more water than I do.
Yeah, know your neighbor,
So that,
and your neighbor's not always the same neighbor. So,
Okay, well, I think it's important that the townships, we get all kinds of feedback from the townships, I think, to start this, don't you guys think? Let's start with them, of
Can
course.
we, I guess I'd be interested in some kind of a aim statement or something. You know, what are we trying to, write down, what are we trying to accomplish? What, I mean, in general terms, I know, but so we're all on the same page, you know, are we trying to make best use of the land? I'm guessing we should. And I would just like some kind of a description of what we're trying to do.
well, a lot of this stuff is zoned ag,
Yeah,
and in order to build on it, you gotta get it rezoned, and you gotta have it surveyed, and you get a lot map and all this stuff. And we're trying to eliminate all the cost associated with that.
mhm.
You'd probably still have to get it surveyed or whatever, but,
If you're building close to town, it would simplify the whole process and lower the cost. Make it
Mhm.
easier to build near these towns if it's in a designated area.
So we want to encourage that.
encourage it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Encourage smart development.
Especially
Yeah,
small,
yeah, yeah.
small parcels that are buildable, that, you know, aren't really farmland
Yeah,
type stuff.
yeah.
Side hills and, slope land and rough land and that kind of thing.
That's still contiguous to the town, though. We don't want them spread around the county.
Is that right, contiguous to the town?
that was,
Pretty much.
that was pretty much our thoughts on that.
We've
because
always
otherwise you're
kind
winding
of
up with
went by
spot
2
zoning
miles
all-
as the crow
all
flies.
over the place. And
Is that what you call contiguous?
I guess
then
so.
how do you draw your lines? Where do you stop? Where do you stop? And pretty soon, one neighbor gets excluded when you move outside of this radius. And
Well, I guess I'm thinking, we got, like down there in the Crescent up on Southridge where I live, they got, up there where Fuxel is, and they got a whole group of houses right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
You know, and that would be a good place for development,
Are
right?
they individually zoned now? Each is zoned one lot subdivisions, or how are they?
Yeah, well, no, they're not one, they're, one per quarter.
Oh,
There's a couple of them, I don't know how they got there. Not in my watch.
Yeah, well, there are homes sprinkled along.
Yeah,
county
and,
road.
and I think most of them are grandfathered in, but there is a group of houses right there.
Yeah, but that'd be a good place for homes along there.
Yeah, but that's not gonna be contiguous to town. And the other thing with contiguous, you know, the Crescent Township, we're always getting eaten away. And we're just playing right into their hand with that.
yeah, the other thing is though, if you start jumping around the county with different developments, then it really puts a burden on townships to maintain roads, provide services, school buses, everything else. So if you
But
keep it in an area.
we've also considered clusters of homes as in our thought process too.
Yes, yeah, spread the cost out for roads amongst those that develop.
Right, I mean, established clusters now, like Larry's talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, there's what, 6, 8 homes, up
Yeah.
on top there at least.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, like Mount Prairie or Sheldon or Money Creek, you know, these unincorporated towns that, Money Creek is a good example. In the last 20 years, there's been quite a few, I can think of 5, 6 subdivisions
Yeah, yeah.
happened over the years, and this would make it a little more easier.
How
Yeah.
close are they to town?
like what you're talking about, that's
Somewhere
pretty much
a couple of mile away.
not really good agricultural land where you're talking these houses would be.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just,
It's not good, not bad. I mean, down there, they farm hills all the time, so, you know. But there's just, I mean, there's a group of houses there, And, I mean, that's a logical place to put more.
Well, I think that could be somewhat up to the townships, what they want to do, and the townships probably like what you guys got down there, probably could do a little bit different or a little different district, because you're not really connected, you're losing your connection with the city of the Crescent.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we've got, I think, 3 farms that make their living on a farm in our township.
And I
We're
know
pretty-
some of that,
Pretty urban.
driving truck and that, I know some of the roads in that are,
Yeah.
and the fields that are up there are usually not very big, or they're long or skinny, or,
And you gotta have a short leg. to walk on them.
Yeah,
yeah, well, we do have restrictions, we have restrictions on how steep you can go,
Yeah, yeah.
but
I think there'd be a problem though if you made it different for different townships, that you're gonna immediately run into trouble.
I think you
Well,
got a
you have
point.
to justify
you're
why
right,
you're-
yeah.
why it's different.
Well, and our board has encouraged the planning commission to, go to some of these places and rezone them to residential. I don't know if I don't know if we want to do that, but we're looking for places in the township where we can grow the residents.
well, that's what we're gonna have these meetings about.
Mm-hmm.
And when you meet, you can, as a planning commission, you can designate your areas that you would like to have a urban zoning.
One of the differences between like an urban expansion and a residential, you're really limited for your agricultural uses.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, if you put a residential area right up next to, County 6 there, Moldenhauer's Dairy,
Yeah.
it's a
yeah.
conflict,
Mhm.
and they went round and round when the school was thinking about building out there, and they thought, well, the township was kind of wanting to protect that area with agriculture.
Mhm.
So, I mean, with the urban expansion, there's still things in place there to protect the agriculture, your feedlot setbacks, for instance, but still allow a little more development where it kind of makes sense, and I think that's kind of the goal. We're one of the few counties that just has an ag and a residential. Most counties do have like a couple ag districts, one that allows a little more development, like Fillmore County is a good example, Winona County. They have 2 ag districts. This would be kind of the same thing. And then before you get into your residential or your rural residential, they call it sometimes.
And it's more of a buffer, really.
Yeah.
And I think that's good. That's what we should be doing.
And that would promote more building, more tax base, so
Yep.
people would be able to enjoy the country
Yeah.
and whatever they want to
And
do.
they pretty much along roads that are already established.
it's kind of gonna boil down to a little bit what the township is like, and what the people of the township perceive for their future.
Right.
And like down where I come from, down by Eitzen and that, the only village that we've got is Eitzen and that, and that's right on the Iowa line, and so you're only gonna got prime agricultural land,
Yeah.
right west of it, or kind of all surrounding except for the one road going north out of there that's, the only place that you would go, and that's pretty narrow dry run going down through there.
And probably the only time
Not much there.
Probably the only time you'd see a new home was if it was 1 for 40 or whatever, and they built on the corner, and the rest is farmland,
Yeah, and moving houses into where there's active agriculture is not a good thing,
It's
Yeah,
not a
I
good
agree.
idea, no.
I agree.
because it's,
Well, I know they,
farmers or whatever, when used to build the houses out there, and then when they get resold and that, then people from the city move into them and that, and they're not used to the smells, and right away there's conflict.
well, I know when before Ed Moldenhauer bought that land out there, somebody else was bidding on it, and they said, well, you'd be protected because the laws and the zoning, and they said, well, yeah, he would probably win all the cases, but he would go broke defending himself.
That's it,
That's, I mean, you can't have that either.
Yeah.
No.
It's deepest pockets usually Comes out on top.
Right.
Okay, well, I think the discussion will be good to have.
Yep.
Now, do we need to identify what areas you want to go to first, or how you want to set that up, or are you going to try that?
I'll make contact with the townships again and see when we want to get together. We want to give them a little time to look it over, a couple weeks anyway.
Yeah, and probably all the townships will be contacted, right?
Oh, yeah.
But there'll only be maybe a few that have these districts in them,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of townships won't want the districts or have a town in their district, in their township. So there won't be these expansion districts in every township, it'd just be certain townships that have cities that might have an area that could be built in. Okay.
Schnick's here tonight, lives south of Brownsville along a bench there, and they, would like to replace their mobile home with a stick-built house, and, where they wanna build a new house would be in the same 40 as an existing house of a neighbor. So they're in the conundrum that exactly what we're talking about here.
Yep.
They are near town,
Yep.
they would like to build a house, and this urban expansion district would really help them. If the Brownsville Township goes south of town like that. Now, granted, there's not a lot of areas along there, but their particular place is definitely suitable for at least one more house. So, of course, you wanna stay off steep slopes and things like that, but you get south of Brownsville, for instance, there's not a lot of agriculture. It's
No.
No.
woodland in there, so.
And we do have a survey on that little place.
Actually, they bring up aerial, and then there's a 5.7 acre section that does have a separate survey. That
Okay.
is
Where we had
where
your look at.
we're
Yeah.
actually talking about.
How did that get there? I mean, well, the real question is, how long has it been there?
The mobile home?
No, this one you're talking about, this 5
The
acres.
survey, it was all one farm when we were growing up,
2004.
and then my uncle passed away, me and my sister inherited it. And in dividing it, that 5.7 acre is an exception from the 40. And that's
Okay,
all
but that was, I mean, when did zoning go in?
1967.
60? Yeah. It's been since then.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got a current survey.
But we've got a
of that.
survey for that 5.7 acres, and it's where we would like to rezone or build it, so.
So, but you understand, we're
That
probably,
survey was 2004.
you understand we're probably close to a year away, maybe a year away.
Right.
Well,
Or we don't know, 9
We-
months, maybe
we-
we don't know. but-
we don't know, but
So we're looking at the options of
by the end of the year, I think we should have, or we might have something that, you could do something
Well,
possibly.
if that.
We
area-
can't promise nothing.
If that area got included, and that would be a lot up to Brownsville Township and so forth, there'd be a lot of people making a decision whether or not your area actually would be included, but, and then at that, even at that, it's gonna be 9 months or more before we get there, by the end of the year,
So
so.
if we already have a survey on that 5.7 acres, and I do the zoning, what,
Like if you wanna rezone it and plat it,
that's why I'm wondering what would be involved with that, if I already have a survey, would that survey be able to be used for that purpose?
it certainly might be helpful, but you would still need a preliminary plat with the contours and things like that, and then the final plat. So you'd still have to go back to a surveyor and have them develop those things along with the rezoning process. Too. So I tell people 5-6 months, you know, and that's generally what it's taken, you know, and that's gonna put you in the fall anyways, so, I mean, it's up to you, it's, you know.
The other option of waiting the 9 months, and then it doesn't affect our area,
Yeah, yeah, it's a gamble,
and we're back in the same boat this time next year.
yeah.
You could, you know, talk to Brownsville Township guys and
Well,
see.
They don't have
They-
the
they don't
information
have-
yet.
they don't have
the
anything,
information
yeah.
yet, yeah. We need, it's best that we have a meeting with them first, so they totally understand what's going on before they start prejudging what they wanna do without
We
information.
were at the town meeting 2 weeks ago,
Whatever it was, yeah.
I brought it up.
And Teresa Walters was
Yeah,
there.
Teresa Walters
Yeah.
was there.
Yeah,
And then start thinking about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but this is gonna have to follow a process,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Okay. Any other business? If not, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion made, adjourned. No objection, we accept that for unanimous consent.
Pass the green ones down, man.